high-tech oils. Available from Auto One, Sprint Auto Parts, and all leading independent auto stores.
Okay, now we're going through to competition, and check this out in qualifying. Danny Chilstrip, he's in the yellow dragster. A wild moment as Chilstrip just suddenly locks up in the braking area, hard into the fence and over multiple times. The thing comes down on the cage, a nasty accident, the kind of crash that you never like to see with a dragster.
Scary, scary incident, this one. Not only for the fact that the car went over, but when it started rolling, it was on top of the wall. The cage got so close to the top of the wall. We already saw Ben Bray at one point this weekend go upside down into the wall, and that didn't end very well for him. Got some injuries from that. Fortunately, Danny got out of the car A-OK. The car did everything it was supposed to. We're going to have a look at some highlights of qualifying session number 2 now, and keep your eyes on the car to the right of screen, right about here. Richard Cavall goes on a ride.
Very scary accident, almost American in appearance, and the way that car got wind underneath it, a big impact when that car landed. It was enough to jolt Richard unconscious for a few moments. Rusty, this is one of the more scary Pro Stock crashes we've seen.
Indeed it is, and it's typical of Pro Stock from what we've seen over the last few years in the States. As soon as these cars get sideways, they've got no side downforce on them. They get a little bit loose, the air gets under the back of the car, and bang! It looks like a fairly gentle roll there, but I can tell you it was not. It landed very, very hard, and thankfully it looks like Richard's going to be A-OK and make a full recovery. Now, remember, it is Dial Your Own Racing. As you can see, the dial is 690 on the board for Steve Fowler. The dial in for Marco Tolomeo, a 932. So he's going to be getting out 2.5 seconds before the Pontiac. Incredible stuff.
Gee, good lights on both sides. Whoa, the Falcon gets sideways and slaps the fence. What happened there? No, not another one. Oh, the second one's worse.
Oh, that is just an incredible hit for Marco Tolomeo. Something obviously broke in that car. Obviously, all concerns are for the driver. It looks like he's okay, and then probably a little bit shaken up, as you would expect. Let's have a look at the replay. It just got a little bit out of the groove. Marco gave it a pedal, and it just started turning the outside tyre, and this was the one that hurt.
Oh, that second hit is massive. Will this put Stuart Bishop off? Sailing background for this guy. He knows how to play the games. Pretty even at the tree. Either way on Bishop's with his hands full. Big moment. Engine detonation. Is he going to catch it? No. He'll sideswipe the wall, and it's going to get worse with a second hit. The car gets airborne across the finish line. Disaster.
And the good news is he is moving around inside that car. That was a big, big moment and a fantastic effort of trying to save it. Marty Dax had his own problems. You can see the supercharger just barely hanging on to the top of that engine, and the car sitting a little bit askew as well.
Had that gone into the wall as well? It looked almost as if it had a bit of a hit. Now, there's the big detonation, and this is slipping on oil badly.
Yeah, a lot of oil under those big rear slicks, and when that happens, it's like trying to run on ice. You can see he's fighting it the whole way in, but at that point, he was just a passenger. The first hit was really just a glancing blow. It did some damage, but this was the big one. You can see it lifts the whole car off the ground. That was a big hit. A few flames out underneath as well. Let's go on board.
Got second gear. Unbelievable bit of drifting. On the brakes, there's the first hit. No time to correct it for the second one. Huge hit, and look, he was reaching almost up there in case there might be a fire as well. I'm surprised this didn't go open to flames, much like Maurice Fabietti's semi-final Nationals run here a few years ago.
Yeah, we've seen it more often than not with door slammers when they detonate like that. You can see the supercharger on the top of Marty Dax's engine. He's got that car pulled up nice and safe. He doesn't even know what's going on behind him. Let's have a look at his run. That was fairly exciting in his own right. Huge engine explosion. Lifts the supercharger clean off the top of the engine. He's lucky he didn't lose the blower altogether.
My goodness, that looked like it broke the ballistics belts that hold these things on. Bishop climbing out of his bent and torn up Camaro. Oh, Kanan Childs is going nowhere.
That is nasty. Big backfire up through the injector hat there, and the fire crew, fortunately, right on the scene. here's the replay. I tell you what, that crew member was lucky still to have any hair on the side of his face. That was a big, big flame out. And time now for Stuart Bishop. Now you'll notice he is on a solo pass here. It wasn't meant to be this way. He was meant to be matching up against Ben Bray, but unfortunately Ben, in his other car that he's racing this weekend, had a very, very nasty incident. You can see the car, something obviously broke in the rear end, and just about the worst possible way you want to hit the wall, with the roof of the car on the top of the concrete wall. Very, very nasty incident. Now Ben has been taken away to hospital and he has sustained some injuries, we understand, in that crash. Nothing life-threatening, but hopefully we see Benny back at the racetrack, because that is a very nasty accident.
Here it is once more. Awful accident in the Factor Extreme car. He was trying to rewrite a world record that he set earlier in the weekend, and you could see him moving around in the car, but those injuries do include multiple fractured ribs, multiple fractured vertebrae. It's been a nervous start so far this weekend for Tony Hinkley on the Buell after recently getting his licence for top-line racing. He's up against Morris Allen on the Milwaukee Suzuki. Nice big skid for Momo, and that Buell sounds so different. Has done a fair bit of racing over in the sportsman classes at the Perth Motorplex, but now he's making that big step up on the Buell.
Yeah, and it's going to take time to get comfortable on the motorcycle, to get comfortable racing against a pro tree as well. And, you know, the conditions that we've got here, you can see the Mopar flag over there. It's fluttering a little bit. The weather is starting to close in a little bit. It is cooling off a lot right now. The conditions are changing. And you know what? One thing that you really don't want with a pro stock motorcycle is wind. That makes them very, very hard to ride.
Now we're starting to see the potential from the Buell, but a bit of a wobble across the finish line, goes through the beams. Over into the other lane goes Hinkley, and he's getting near the wall and off the bike. Does he? Yes. I thought he was going to save it. It's a nasty one in the braking area. The Buell goes sliding down the road, and over it goes. Oh, nasty stuff for Tony Hinkley. Morris Allen doing his best to avoid rider and machine. And some concerned faces on the start line with that one. He's up though.
Oh, that's good. And you can see Morris Allen over there as well alongside him. He knows what it's like when you come off these motorcycles. Tony Hinkley, I think, just gathering his breath there, because obviously the first thing you want to do is pop up and let everybody know that you're all right, but you really need to make sure that you're all right. You can see the bike. It was not happy. He would have got the win, clip the timing clones, but that's not the important part here. Now, he's learned a very important lesson about trying to pull these bikes up.
Oh.
Don't get on the brakes when you're leaning the bike over that far, and you can see it comes off. He starts to tumble, and that is hard to watch.
The Buell makes its return to the drag strip, and unfortunately its first eliminations pass ends up like that. We're going to check out some earlier qualifying action, and, well, Rusty Gregory, this was a very scary moment for Robert Cassar.
Yeah, this was one of the lowlights right here. Robert Cassar had a big moment, hit the bump in the braking area, and you can see for yourself what happened. Took a big tumble, hit his head pretty hard as he did come off the bike. Fortunately, it looks like everything is going to be A-OK, but you can see right there, it was just a combination of circumstances. The front wheel laid over in the bump, and that was all it took.
Wayne Newby and Phil Lamartina are up next, and after a long delay due to a timing system issue, the race director aborted the pass. But the Lamartina team decided to send the two-time champ down the track anyway.
So Newby has actually shut that car down. Angelo Lamartina waving his brother Phil away from the start line, and it's on to number 2. It's strong. Goodness me. Lamartina with a big moment in the deep end. It's happened again. Shades of 2007. The car has broken. It's a brand new car as well. Concern for the crew, including Aaron Hambridge and the entire family into a nervous wait now. How has this happened again? Wayne Newby's out of the car and everyone looks to the big screens here at Willowbank Raceway. And you can hear a pin drop in that crowd right now. Goodness me, the safety crew are there. And let's try and figure out how this happened. Strongly past half track. That's incredible. Well and truly airborne across the finish line. I mean, that car is doing in excess of about 450 kilometres per hour when that happens. And well might they be panicked after seeing that again. 2007, it happened in the other lane, and I cannot believe that it's happened to him once again. The concerning thing about that crash for me is how the bottom of the chassis rails have hit the concrete wall too. Fuel pouring out from the massive fuel line that goes underneath this car. This is what the crowd would have seen. And you just can't imagine that that has happened again to Phil. We'll have to wait and see. We'll wait on a word as to how he's doing.
Lamartina was extricated from the car and taken to Princess Alexandra Hospital in Brisbane for further medical assessment in a stable condition.
Yeah, Daniel Camilleri, new car for him this season. Of course, we were used to seeing him run the Holden throughout last year and did very, very well in it as well, I might add. Oh, very, very out of shape for Daniel Camilleri. That is not where you want to be in these cars. It looks like he's got it pulled up A-OK there. Les Hines goes through for the win. Big moment for Dan Camilleri. Oh! Wow. That is a big, big crash for Daniel Camilleri. You can see the fuel just pouring out of the front of it. Fortunately, it looks like he's moving around inside that car and hopefully he can get out under his own power. Yeah, and that's exactly what he's doing. That is a big, big relief because that was a huge accident, Chad.
He's done well to get out of that one. Calder Park has seen some big crashes in its time, and this is no exception. The car was very crooked by half track. He buttons it off early. This is strange. What on earth happened? Because he's coasting through the finish line, and then it just turned hard right.
That has to be some kind of mechanical failure right there, whether it's in the steering or the drivetrain, if something locked up, who knows. But you can see probably the worst part of this crash is the fire. Fire is a driver's worst nightmare, and when it comes into the cabin like that, you can see just how intense it is. And fortunately for Daniel Camilleri, he's going to walk away unscathed. But then this happened. The very next run, Gary Phillips, big issues, got some liquid under the tyres and into that wall. Very, very hard. Now, you've got to remember, Gary Phillips is in championship contention, isn't he, Matt?
Yeah, this was a big, big moment for the 16-time top alcohol champion. The throttle jammed after it hit the wall here. Very uncharacteristic moment for Gary Phillips. Was very, very lucky. The body peeling off the car. You can see the elastic holding the body from going over too far into the grandstands here, but a massive, massive moment and a big dent on his championship hopes.
Absolutely, and in terms of the driver, there was nothing Gary Phillips was going to do about that.